Hey guys, JPA Trades here with the as requested the due diligence video. I think this is kind of going to be a pretty useful one for you guys because it'll show you some different strategies that I use in making these posts for you all. From the supply and demand zone video we've gone over to also showing the flow analysis from unusual whales that I usually attach in them to give you that extra benefits, as well as kind of like I look at what news is going on just either from Twitter or from the day-to-day action. So without any further ado, just wanted to say thank you one more time for helping me grow on Twitter, helping me grow on YouTube, always showing up, always hitting like, always retweeting, commented all the great comments. It means the world to me. It helps the channel, helps the community grow faster, and I really, really appreciate it. So for this post, I'm going to be going over SPY. This is pretty commonly requested ticker, all you crazy index traders who love trading SPY. But SPY is pretty good, especially because it moves with the market. Well, it basically is the market has all the stocks in it, but it also there's not really any earnings in it like we have this week, like Tesla, Apple, everything with that huge juice calls. Obviously, SPY will have some added premium to it, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to look at. So what I'll kind of do is right now I'm just looking at the 1 day. So just kind of line it up. So from our supply and demand zone video. So it looks like if I go to 430 lines up pretty good. This 429, 430 range. So that's a pretty important level. So when I'm going through Twitter, I'll start composing a tweet. Let's see if I usually do it on my phone, so I can do my pictures better, but so I'll start out, type it up. So SPY DD, look for a little astronaut guy. Boom. If any of it's different, you'll know because I'm working on the computer this time. So a little space. So just from looking at today, we see that we had our great recovery yesterday to that 440 level. You can see again this supply zone 440 area, it hits that roof and kind of gets stuck and sells down. So we know that 440 is going to be a level. We see that this 430 zone is going to be a level. We closed right around 435 and it's kind of jumbled up in these 430s. So you know that 430 itself is stronger and 440 stronger. And then the bottom out like 425 zone. And we'll zoom out and look at more, but for right now, just go back. So go after an insane close. Yesterday, I'm also a terrible speller, so you guys can make fun of me later about it. For SPY, it sold off this morning. Before rallying again into the close. So it's always good to see those buyers show up to show that the bottom's not going to fall out. But yesterday we made it up to 440. Today we only made it up to 430. Well, 435. So I don't necessarily like how we made that lower high. And we can zoom out the 5-day. We're starting to consolidate a little bit in this 440. That's kind of where our top is. 430 the bottom, 420 way down there. So tomorrow we can kind of determine, well, if we fall under 430, we're probably going to go 425, 420, and 420 is going to be our huge level because there's that god-awful candle from today, which is where that crazy sell happened. Let's just fix this real quick. So here's like, I'll just leave it. So here's kind of where we were. There's the COVID sell, but these lows at 400. There's a couple here, that 415 But once you get through 420, it starts to get pretty ugly. So that's where. So we'll go back to typing up our post. So we'll do. I think it's gonna be leaning. I still think we're leaning bearish. So kind of gonna take it from the mind of I think we're gonna go down before I go and look at the flow. So if SPY is unable to hold above 430, a retest of 425 and then 420 is possible. Under 420 is, and this is where I like to do a little skull and crossbones guy, because that's how you know it's serious, is when you see those skull and cross. There we go, skull and cross. That's how you know it gets bad. See those skull and crossbones? Watch out. All right, but then we can always do the positive spin on things. So if SPY is able to reclaim 440, a run back to, and let's go see how high this can. If we start running, how good can we get? So here's our 440. There's a lot of supply in here. So 440 is going to be pretty tricky. And then that 44.44, and it was another one of those weird numbers. There's these I've mentioned it before, the psychological levels, like the 100s, the 200s, the 10s, the 5s. But there's also like the weird like 444s, 333s, 111s. Like weird numerical occurrences that occur that for some reason people like buying and selling on. The algorithm likes them. So it's not really 445. It's really like 444.44. So I'm going to say 445 in the DD. But those of you guys that listen here, there's a little bonus nugget for you all. So, and then as always, if things start running, they can run hard. So if it breaks through, you might hit 450 real quick, and then through 450, 460 will really happen. It can just go if they start squeezing it. And you got Tesla and Apple earnings coming up, so that can influence it all too. So there's just a lot of factors at play going on right now. So SPY is able to reclaim 440. A run back to 445, and then 50 is possible. And we're out of characters. This is the hardest part about writing these for you guys, is always trying to fit in all these words. So basically, I'm going to have to fix this to make it suit it right, but let's go look at the flow, and I'll put the pictures and the words in and kind of show you what else goes into it. So let's go to the flow. Unusual whales. I'll link in the description the discount code, but basically if you go to this sign up with the pricing before you sign up, you can use my code JPA Trades and it'll get you a 5% off. So it's I think it's a really good deal out there with the 5% off. I think I'd use it every day. I definitely get the value for it. I think try it for a month. If you don't like it, cancel it. I think it's a pretty useful tool. But all right, that's enough of the shameless plug. So I go to the intraday analyst section. So we're going to look at SPY. And SPYs and all indexes are always a little bit tricky because indexes, they like to use to hedge positions. So you never really know what they're looking for. It's better when you see like out of the money plays, like farther out of the money SPY calls, SPY puts. It kind of gives you a activity, what's going on. So as always, all you degenerates out there are going to be in the single day to expiry SPY activity. So I don't like to look at this as much, the most active chains. I kind of like to look at the biggest chains. So what's going on in the biggest? So they're selling the 500 puts. So that's bullish because it's a sell. So anytime you see these when I snap it in the screenshots, this bull, so the bullish tag is attached to trade based on the relation between the option call to put and the side of the trade took on the bid and ask side. Ask side and bid sides are marked as bullish. So transaction took closer to the bid side. So they were selling the puts. They weren't buying the puts. They were selling them. So they say, hey, I think SPY can bounce here, and this is our biggest number at 14 million, and it goes down. So based on the flow, it seems as if SPY can bounce into tomorrow. That's what they're betting on. But they also could have just been looking at, hey, SPY rallied into the close. They bought this at 11:45. So that afternoon run, they might have got rid of it already. You don't really know, but that was the biggest trade, and it's something to keep in mind and keep on your radar. Now here's the other interesting one. The highest open interest increases. So where is everyone buying activity? Okay, so it's not great to see like 385, 400s, 410s, 360s. So these guys are saying, hey, I think something really bad might happen in SPY. But what's important to remember is this is also an index. This could be a hedge. Whoever's doing this might have billions of dollars worth of stock, and they're just going to let it sit out there. They say, I'll buy these puts, and that way if the market crashes, I'll make money on the puts and protect my core positions and not lose money. So what I'll do is I'll take these two items right here. Just get my snipping tool, copy them down, and then boom, put one of those pictures in. Let's go back. Highest OI increase. Go in here. Boom. Get them in the position you like. And it's not just a SPY. There's not really a nice, clean picture I can use. So I'll go and I'll look for a meme somewhere, either on Reddit or Twitter or something. So I don't have my meme ready, so it's going to be a surprise to you guys. But hopefully this kind of helps you. The tricky part for me is condensing the information into a tweet to say, hey, here's what I think is going to happen, and get that information out to you clearly and effectively as possible. But you guys aren't limited to however many characters it is in Twitter. You aren't limited to just looking at these two categories. You can use all of the information that Unusual Whales has to provide you. You can do your own independent research just by looking at the options chains, looking at the price action throughout the day. There's not one right or wrong way to do your own due diligence. If you put the extra effort in and kind of focus on those core names, focus on things you understand, that's what will kind of give you that consecutive success, get you that growth as a trader. Just thinking that you can trade 10,000 different names perfectly based on one indicator, that's wrong. I mean, if you'll notice, I don't really ever post a bunch of indicators on charts. I don't really say use this, use this, use this. There's a ton of different ways to get to the answer. But what's most important is trade what you know and know what you trade. It's not about knowing how to make 1,000 stocks work. It's about knowing how 10 or 20 stocks work. And then once you know those 10 or 20 really well, you go and pick up maybe another 5. Once you know those 5, maybe you pick up another 5. But you can't just, and that might take months and months and months before you really understand them. You can't just start, here's a new ticker that IPO'd, I'm going to instantly trade it right away. It doesn't work that way. Or if it does, you're likely to get burned, especially when you're first starting out. If you're a new investor, if you're just starting out trading, what I did was I picked stuff that interested me when I first started. I picked like Microsoft, Activision, and Amazon. And I couldn't afford Amazon, but it was something that I used all the time. I played Xbox, so I used Microsoft and Activision's, and the way I played it was, it's like, oh, Halo's coming out, so I'm going to see what Microsoft does when Halo comes out, or Call of Duty's coming out. I'm going to see what Activision does when Call of Duty comes out, and at least kind of made me correlate news events to stocks, and I could see how they reacted. So try to, when you're first starting out, just focus on stuff that you like, that you understand, and then as you get more talented as a trader, more experience as a trader, expand your horizons, and then you can kind of see what else is out there. So with that, thank you all for listening. Thank you for all the support again, and have a good rest of your evening, and I'll see you out at the open tomorrow.